Alright, let's try and do activity, let me flip my pages back, 5.5a CAD Model Features Part 1, and we're going to move over to page 10, right at the bottom, Roman numeral 5, and we're going to create a 3D model of an Automoblox tire. So I need to do an Automoblox part, so I need to change my projects to Automoblox. Double click on it, check mark, we're done. Now whatever I make is going to be saved in there. It tells me we're going to sketch concentric circles and use mid-plane or symmetric extrusion. Ooh, that's good stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a new part. New part, create. Create a new sketch. Boom. I really like the XY axis. I'm going to select that. Concentric circles. So that means I need a circle to start with, and if I look at step 3 on page 11, it shows me how big those circles are, so I can just type that number in right here. The outer circle has a diameter of 1.650 inches. Enter. Notice it turned, rather than that light green, it turned this dark blue, meaning it's fully constrained. I've got a diameter and it's constrained about the origin. So that's good. So now I need to draw 2 more concentric circles. So you remember, concentric means that it shares the same center. So here's a nice thing I can do. Rather than draw a new circle, I can come over to my Modify panel. Here's this command offset. I can offset this circle. Well, where do I want to offset it to? Well, I guess somewhere here. But now I need 2 concentric circles. So why don't I make one off of this one? Offset is still selected. I selected this other circle, created another circle. Now I'm done. Now I'm going to put some dimensions on there. Select dimensions, and looking at the bottom of page 11, I can see that the distance between this constrained circle and this concentric circle is going to be 0.100 inches, or 100 thousandths. Enter. That's good. Now it's fully constrained. Now I can see that if this circle and this circle are offset from each other by 0.030, or 30 thousandths. 0.030. There we go. That looks pretty good. Once I draw those, it says mid-plane extrusion. Okay, so I guess I'm done with this sketch. Finish sketch, double click my scroll so everything comes on the screen. I am going to extrude. We've done extruding a lot. But for right now, I believe I am only going to extrude this outer shape, because right now I am just going to extrude the tire part of that. I'm not going to extrude any of those little ribs that are in there or anything. So right now, notice profile is shaded. I'm selecting the profile I want to extrude. Now, I certainly don't want to extrude it that far. However, when I look at this thing, I think it wants me to actually measure the wheel, which I did, and I know that the distance is 9/16 of an inch, or 9 divided by 16. There it is. Only the last instruction it gives me is this needs to be a mid-plane or symmetrical extrusion, which means that I need to go here. This is direction 1, direction 2, and symmetric. Notice what symmetric does. It equally extrudes on both sides of that sketch plane. That's what I want. 9/16, mid-plane. Hit OK. There's that tire without all the details inside. Step 2 on the upper part of page 11 says share the sketch by right-clicking on the sketch in the project browser. Here's my project browser. I don't see the sketch. Well, I need to expand my feature that I just did to that sketch. There is the sketch. I can right-click, share sketch. Notice what happens. I can see this sketch right here, and here it is. Now, on the paper it tells me an unconsumed copy of the sketch will appear in the browser. That is this one, unconsumed. It means there's no feature attached to it. This sketch is consumed by this extrusion. Now I have this sketch that is unconsumed. Now I want to do something with that. So now I'm going to edit that sketch. So right-click on that sketch, do Edit Sketch, pops up to me. Now we're looking at the lower right on page 11, and I can see that it wants me to make some lines here so that I can section off a little piece of this thing to create that rib. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a line, go from my origin, and I'm just going to go well past so I don't accidentally get a constraint that I don't want. I'm going to hit escape, select another line from the origin. I guess I have to hit the line button. Once I hit that escape, it went away. So line, beginning, end. I hit escape. I want to hit the line again, origin, and I'm going to make this a vertical line. Notice that constraint shows up that shows that I'm going straight vertical, which I want that because I'm going to have to put the angles in here. So escape. Now I'm done drawing those lines. These two lines are unconstrained. You can see they're light green, so we're going to have to put some dimensions on there. So I want this line and this line to be 4 degrees away from each other. So when I click on it, 4, enter, and I want this one to be 4 degrees away from this one. Click, 4, enter. Now they're constrained. That's a total of 8 degrees. I've got that middle line in there. Now let's trim off all the stuff I don't want. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by deleting this line essentially that I made as a construction line, this vertical line. I'm going to delete that one. It shows that they're not fully constrained now that line's gone, but that's okay. These lines aren't going to move on me, so I'm going to just hit my trim button in my modify panel, trim. I'm going to start from the outside and move in. Get rid of the lines I don't want. I don't want these, don't want this, and the last thing I don't want is I don't want this big circle right here. That leaves me with just this space in here, this consumed space. So, consumed wasn't the right word, but this closed profile. So I'm going to finish that sketch, and I can't really see that right now, so I'm going to move it a little bit so that you can see what's going on there. My computer right now doesn't like running this recorder and moving this thing around, but there's my profile. Now I'm going to hit extrude. First thing it wants, notice it's shaded, it wants a profile. So I'm going to come in here and select that little space I made. If I need to zoom into it I can, but there it is. That looks like the rib, that's good. But that rib needs to be 1/2 of an inch, or 0.5 inches. And actually I told you guys I'd rather use this thing here. Use this thing, put your distance in here, and then I need a midline extrusion of this thing as well. 1/2 inch midline, that looks good. Gonna hit OK, and you can see why we wanted a midline extrusion, because we want a little space on either side, this little space right here. So I like that. I guess the next thing we need to do is we need to circular pattern this thing, because we want a number of instances of this around this wheel. So here's what I do. Pattern, right, sitting right here. Circular. First thing that's shaded is features. I want a circular pattern that feature. Okay, where's my rotation axis? My directions actually asked me to put an axis through the middle of here, which I could have done, but tell you what, you can use any circular or concentric edge. So I'm going to choose in there. So it knows around that edge is where you want those patterns. And if I look at my page on the bottom of page 12, I can see that there's 15 instances of that rib. That looks good to me. I'm going to hit OK. So far, so good. And the last thing they want me to do is they want me to put that little bit of ridge in the middle of this thing, which, let's see, the last time I did this it didn't quite work out, so let's see if it will this time. I think I'm going to have to, because I trimmed off that inside circle on that shared sketch, I think I'm going to have to redraw that. So I'm going to share this sketch. I'm going to use this unconsumed sketch here. Notice it's there. When we originally shared this sketch, I was able to use it. I consumed it with this extrusion. Then it's up here for me to share again. So I'm going to edit that sketch. There's this geometry that I can use. All I need to do, since that inside circle I trimmed it off last time, I'm just going to draw that again. So I'm going to offset this circle. And actually I know that it's 0.03, so I'm just going to put that in there, and I'll put a new dimension on that. here to here, 0.03. And just because I like to do such things, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit escape a couple times to get dimension to go away, and I'm going to just delete these two little lines in there. I don't want problems, so I'm just going to delete those on this sketch that I'm using right now. Finish sketch. Oh, that it did do what I thought it was going to be. That's okay. We can hit undo. When we make a mistake, we can hit undo. So I'm going to hit undo. And I'm going to hit undo again, and I'm going to put that back in there, that thing that I just took out. Really, I'm just showing you what happens when we play with shared sketches. So let me fix this dimension again. So what I have right now, whoop, that's not the view I wanted. I want this one. So where we are right now is we drew a new concentric circle, and we need to change that dimension. And that dimension again was that 0.03. There it goes. I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to leave that rib right where it is, and I'm going to extrude that profile. So I need to go and select that profile. See, select that profile. Does the same thing everything else did. It just pushed out. I don't want it pushed out. I want it mid-plane. And I also don't want it to be a ½ inch. So what I'm going to have to do is change that. It's actually a very skinny little thing, and the dimension's not on there, but as I pick up that wheel and I look at it, I can measure it as 1/32 of an inch. So 1 divided by 32 of an inch. That's a pretty skinny little thing there. You hit OK. There it is. I like it. Now the last thing I want to do, this shared sketch, this unconsumed shared sketch up here, is causing these dimensions and these lines to show up. I really don't want to see those anymore because I'm done with my part. So I can come over here to my browser, right click, and I can turn the visibility off. That looks nice now, right? So now my last step, I have to change the material. I believe this is made of silicone rubber. So I'm going to come up to my materials pull down menu, and I'm going to have to scroll down, rubber silicone. I'm going to do that one. It's rubber silicone. The last thing I want to do is I want to change the color of it, which it's not this one here. It's actually to change the color. I want to be on this button right here, adjust. Displays in-canvas tools to modify the appearance. So that's what we want to do. We want to modify the appearance, and this sometimes takes a couple steps. I don't know why it does, but I'm sure it's because we're not doing it exactly the way it's supposed to go. I'm going to hold my shift button down. Yeah, and it's slow because of my recorder on there. Once I hit my shift button down, draw a window, it colors everything. Hit my check button. There it is. There's my green wheel for my green car. I'm going to go to my home view, and then I'm going to save it. So when I save this, I had already selected the Automoblox folder, so it'll save in here, and I'm going to save this as rubber tire with my initials, and I don't have to put the extension on there. That'll automatically go on there. If you put it on there, it may mess it up, so don't put it on there. Rubber tire. I'm going to hit save. Do you want to replace it? Sure. This was a nice tire I made. So there we go. We're all set with the rubber tire for the Automoblox.